You can feel it when someone walks in and the room gets quieter, even if they never say a word. Not because they are trying to dominate, not because they are cold, because their nervous system is not begging the moment for permission to be okay. That kind of calm is not empty. It is stored force. It is pressure held steady, like a sealed container that never rattles, never leaks, never panics. And the strange part is, people react to it before they understand why. Something old inside them notices, this person is not easy to move. Look around at how most people live right now. A message takes too long and their mind starts sprinting. A tiny disagreement turns into a personal attack. A small inconvenience becomes a full story about how life is unfair. It is like everyone is walking around with their skin turned inside out. Everything touches a nerve. Everything gets a response. And the more they respond, the more the world learns how to control them. Because reaction is the easiest handle to grab. If someone can push a button and you explode, they own that button. If a comment can ruin your day is rented. If a setback can steal your focus was never yours to begin with. Now picture a scene that happens everywhere. A meeting, a family dinner, a group chat that spilled into real life. Voices rise. People start performing their anger. Someone starts listing old mistakes like they are reading from a script. The temperature in the room climbs. And then there is one person who is almost boring. They are not smirking. They are not shutting down. They are just there, breathing slow, eyes steady, shoulders loose. They listen like they have time. You can feel the group orbit toward them. Not because they demanded attention, but because steadiness is rare, and rare things pull the gaze. Everyone is thinking the same question without saying it. Why are you not getting dragged into this? That is the secret. Calm is not being unaffected. Calm is choosing what affects you and when. Most people do not realize how much power they hand away every day because they confuse intensity with strength. They think the loudest emotion is the truest one. They think the fastest response is the most honest. But honesty without control is just a leak. It is a cracked container. And if you want to be taken seriously in a world full of noise, you do not need to shout over it. You need to become the person who does not get pulled by it. The reason this is uncommon has nothing to do with talent or luck. It is uncommon because it costs something upfront. It costs the comfort of immediate expression. It costs the little dopamine hit of proving a point. It costs the habit of letting your face and mouth speak before your mind shows up. It costs the willingness to feel heat in your chest and still keep your hands steady. That is ownership, not of other people. Ownership of yourself. Here is what most people do when they feel threatened. Their body treats it like danger. The heart jumps. The breath gets thin. The mind narrows into a tunnel that only sees offense and defense. This reaction kept humans alive when threats were claws and teeth. But now, the threat is usually a tone of voice, a look, a post, a delay, a rumor, a tiny jab meant to pull you off center. And when your body still responds like it is fighting for survival, you become predictable. You become easy to steer. A person who can read your triggers can write your behavior. So the goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to stop being hijacked. You are allowed to feel anger. You are allowed to feel fear. You are allowed to feel hurt. The upgrade is learning to feel it without immediately obeying it. That is where real freedom lives. In the small pause where you stop being an animal reacting and start being a person choosing. There is a practice that looks simple but changes everything if you actually do it. Call it the beat. The beat is that tiny moment after something hits you and before you answer, someone tries to bait you. You take the beat, someone drops bad news. You take the beat, someone pushes your insecurity. You take the beat, you let your mind arrive before your mouth does. In the beat, you do one thing. You return to the body because the body is where the hijack starts and it is where you can interrupt it. Start with your breath because it is the steering wheel. When stress rises, your breath speeds up without asking you. So you slow it down on purpose. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Do that a few rounds. You are not doing magic. You are sending a signal. Slow breath tells your system, we are not dying right now. And when the system stops screaming emergency, your thinking opens back up. You can see options again. You can hear what is actually being said, not just what your ego thinks it means. Then, train the part people forget, your face. Your face is a loudspeaker for your inner chaos. It broadcasts offense, fear, smugness, uncertainty, all of it. And once it is broadcast, the other person adjusts. They poke where you wince. They press where you flinch. Keeping a neutral expression is not being fake. It is keeping your strategy private. It is not handing out a map to your pressure points. You can be kind and still be unreadable. You can be respectful and still be unshaken. Now add silence. Silence is a tool almost nobody knows how to hold. Most people fear it because it feels like losing. They rush to explain, defend, justify, fill the air, prove they matter. But silence does something powerful. It creates space where the other person reveals themselves. When you stop talking, people often keep talking. They start adding extra details. They start contradicting themselves. They start showing what they really want. And you learn more in that quiet than you ever will in a rushed argument. Try this the next time someone comes at you with heat. Let them finish. Keep your breath slow. Keep your face calm. Then pause. Let the silence sit for a moment longer than feels comfortable. And when you finally speak, make it clean. Fewer words. Lower volume. No need to match their storm. You are not there to win a performance. You are there to stay in control of your own state. That alone shifts the entire power dynamic. Another rule that will save you years of regret is this. Do not make important decisions while your nervous system is loud. When you are furious, you do not need to send a message. When you are scared, you do not need to agree to the deal. When you are excited, you do not need to promise the word. Strong emotion narrows the mind and makes you chase short-term relief. The calm person delays. They give their brain time to come back online. They say, I'm going to think about it. They step away. They sleep on it. And later, with a cooler mind, they see what was hidden in the heat. This is why calm is so frightening to certain people. Because it blocks their usual tricks. Some people do not communicate to connect. They communicate to control. They escalate to make you crumble. They get dramatic to make you chase. They accuse to make you defend. If you stay grounded, their script stops working. At first, they may push harder because they are used to the world responding to pressure. But when you remain steady, a crack appears. They start feeling their own chaos. They hear themselves. And that is the moment you win without violence, without threats, without trying to be bigger than them. Your steadiness becomes a mirror, and many people do not like what they see. There is also a quieter benefit that most people miss. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding problems with extra energy. A lot of conflict survives on your participation. Drama needs attention like fire needs oxygen. If you do not give it air, it shrinks. This does not mean you avoid hard conversations. It means you stop pouring gasoline on every spark. You choose the right moment. You choose the right tone. You stay in your body. You handle what is real, not what is performed. And yes, the world is designed to keep you reactive. Every ping, every headline, every scroll is built to pull emotion out of you because emotion keeps you watching, clicking, buying, arguing. A calm mind is a threat to that machine. When you build composure, you are not just becoming more effective. You are becoming harder to manipulate. You are making a quiet decision that your attention is not public property. So how do you build this in daily life, not just in theory? You practice when the stakes are small, so you have it when the stakes are high. Start noticing the first body signal that you are about to react. It might be a tightening in your jaw. It might be heat in your face. It might be a rush in your chest. The moment you notice it, name it silently. This is anger. This is fear. This is embarrassment. Naming it does something strange. It creates distance. It turns a flood into something you can observe. Then you take the beat, breathe slow, and decide what your next move serves. Not what your impulse demands, but what your future self will respect. You can also rehearse composure in harmless moments. Stand in a line and practice relaxing your shoulders. Sit in traffic and practice softening your grip on the steering wheel. When a notification pops up, wait a breath before opening it. That tiny delay is training. It is you proving to yourself that you are not a puppet. You are the hand holding the strings. And sometimes you will be misunderstood. Calm will make certain people label you as weak or distant or arrogant. Let them. Being underestimated is a strange advantage. When people assume you are soft, they stop paying attention. They show their habits. They show their motives. They reveal their patterns. Meanwhile, you are learning, refining, positioning. Then when it actually matters, you move with accuracy. No spectacle, No announcement. Just the right action at the right time. The surprise belongs to the person who does not broadcast every emotion like a live feed. Over time, something changes around you. People who used to poke you for entertainment get bored because you are not a toy anymore. People who relied on your guilt get confused because you do not rush to fix what you did not break. People who thrived on chaos drift away because your steadiness exposes their addiction to noise. And in the space that opens up, better people show up. People who value depth. People who respect self-control. People who feel safer around someone whose mood is not a coin toss. Imagine the version of you who lives like this. Someone cuts you off and it barely sticks. Someone tries to shame you online and it slides off like rain. A problem hits at work and while others spin, you start looking for leverage. Bad news arrives and you let yourself feel it, but you do not collapse into it. You handle the next step with a clear mind. People begin to come to you when things are messy, not because you have every answer, but because you do not add panic to the pile. Your presence makes the room more manageable. That is what composure really is. It is not a pose, it is not indifference. It is discipline so practiced that it becomes your default. It is the skill of staying clear when everyone else is cloudy. And the best part is, it is available to you right now, in the next conversation, the next irritation, the next moment. Your ego wants to prove something. You do not need a perfect life to be calm. You need a trained response. You need the beat. You need breath. You need the courage to let silence do the heavy lifting. And you need the patience to choose long-term respect over short-term relief. So the next time life tries to grab you by the nerves, remember this. You do not have to give it what it wants. You can be the person who stays steady. You can be the person who does not get played. You can be the person whose calm is not weakness, but warning, the quiet kind. And when you start living that way, you stop chasing power out there, because you finally have it in here. Let that be your reset today. Let it be the moment you decide you are the kind of person who responds on purpose. If this clicked for you, drop one word in the comments that describes the calm you are building. Hit like so you do not forget this the next time you get tested. And send this to someone who has been living on the edge of their own reactions. If you want more of this kind of reset in your feed, stay with this channel.